On the sunniest day of the year, the 154th North Somerset Show got underway on the Bathing Pond Fields, Wraxall. Here are some highlights from the day.
Flags down and they're off. So they're all going to make their way to the centre. You can see they're going to pick the tyre up, over the head, down, and off they go. So that's a lovely run there for the Staff College. As they're off, they're running back down to pick the tyre up. Through the tyre they go. And that was a lovely run. Well done to the Paul as they're over the line to finish. So Paul looked to have a little lead here over Staff College and Wiley on the far side. Lovely mount back on there, well done. So there we go. Who's going to be first in? And it looks to be the Wiley Valley. Paul are hot on their heels, so as you can see, 1, 2, they all race that down the field here. Staff College going well. It looks to be the Wiley Valley storming back down the field here. So Paul on the far side, they're trying to chase up here, but the Wiley looks to be storming back down. And that's a lovely win, and well done to the Wiley. So we've got South Devon, we've got Staff College, Eggersford in the middle.
So coming up shortly will be class 107, Maiden Heifer born on or after the 1st of January 2012.
Yeah, put that near probably. Yeah, if you put the...
As well as anything else.
Where is it?
And you're doing some bits for the district Leicester. Very rare sheep on the right hand side, 2 ballers in the middle, and a white faced dark ball on the left hand side. Good variety. You think you're just keeping a few.
She's ready, okay? Shall I tie her up for a minute? Yeah, shall I tie her up?
in the booth, build in the booth. Way to go, good start. Come on, John. That's it, that's pulling at its best. Give it a short, 6, 3, 4, 40 days ago. We did exactly the 10. Got it at the start, go on here.
To start pulling. Dean will be watching the judge, looking at his hands. That's a second in winning end to Philip Nichols.
Enthusiastic. There we go. Couple of little chairs. Now then, boys and girls.
Go down with it. Speed up. Come on. Pick it up. Pick it up. Doing well. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, is it nearly there, Rob?
It's not going to plan, Bob.
No, it's not going to plan. Put them marks in the wrong places, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 foot up a tree.
And these two horses, Snow Hill Maximus and Fox Oaks Flashman, affectionately called Max and Monty, they do work on a regular basis. Wadworths do deliver 5 days a week in Devizes with horse and dray, and these heavy horses are used for that.
In the Dairy Shorthorn show today, our champion came from Miss F.R. Mannerings. It was Rodway Grey Rose the 26th.
Our next animal then is we have the British Shorthorn, and the Beef Shorthorn, sorry. I'm going to show you that, there we go, which is another hardy British breed. Next we move on to our first Continental, which is obviously which is now actually the British Simmental Society, and we have the champion here from the Boddington Estates. We then move on to the Devon, more commonly known as the Ruby Reds.
Another pursuit enjoyed by many countrymen is beer making. Here at Yewood Farm in Rington, Keith and Deb Hales have recently turned a hobby into a business, and so far they are doing very well by it. The basic ingredients of beer are water, a starch source such as malted barley, which is able to be fermented or converted into alcohol, a brewer's yeast to produce the fermentation, and flavouring such as hops to give it a bitter taste. Keith has volunteered to show us the intricacies of the many processes that go into making a pint of beer.
So over here we've got the hot liquor tank. There's 1,300 litres of water in there, and that's been heated up to 80 degrees. This vessel here is called the mash tun. In there the malted barley goes with the hot water from the hot liquor tank. It stands in there for approximately 75 minutes. After 75 minutes we transfer it into this vessel, which is the copper or the kettle, and that's where we boil up the liquid for about an hour. And the purpose of that is to sterilise it, and we add hops for bitterness and obviously hops for flavour and aroma. Okay, I've just taken a sample of the liquid from the hot liquor tank. We're going to cool it down to 20 degrees, and then I'm going to take a reading to make sure that we're looking at the right alcohol content. So I'm just going to take a hydrometer reading. Sorry, it's in the sink, isn't it? So that's at 1.039, which is about the ballpark figure we're looking for this beer. So you get a glimpse of it every now and then, the liquid boiling, but it's be careful, don't drop it in there.
The liquid, now called wort, remains in the copper or kettle for about an hour before it progresses to the next stage. Meanwhile, Keith has been busy cleaning and sterilising the fermentation tanks prior to transferring the wort across to it.
So we're now transferring the beer from the copper via the hop filter, which captures all the small bits of hop debris, and it's coming through here at about just under boiling point. This is a plate heat exchanger, so the beer basically comes through all these plates and out of this pipe at the top, but in this direction is cold mains water flowing in the opposite direction, and that's what's chilling the beer from about 100 degrees down to 23 east. And the water through the plate heat exchanger is then getting recaptured or reclaimed into the hot liquor tank for the next brew. It's aerating the water as it goes in the wort, and it's getting lots of oxygen in there so that the yeast has got something to feed off.
Now Keith takes another temperature reading. It's at this stage that yeast will be added and the fermentation will take place. This is where alcohol is produced and the wort becomes beer. Much of Twisted Oak's beer is supplied in casks. They also supply the beer ready bottled.
How's it bottled? It's all done manually with a bottle filler by gravity. So what we do is we prime the beer, bottle it, and then it has to mature for 3 to 4 weeks before it goes on sale. So it's all bottle conditioned ale.
At the moment they produce a range of 3 beers. The Fallen Tree brand was named after a pub in Clevedon that Keith frequented in his youth. The Twisted Oak beers are available at several local public houses, including here at the Salthouse pub, where a pint of this old barn ale is readily available at £2.50.
Okay.
It's £2.50, please. Enjoy your beer.
Thank you.
night of the new food market at Seeley's in Hill Road. The aim is to provide a permanent food market offering an expanding and changing mix of food by different producers. The market was the brainchild of a group of Hill Road shop owners in an attempt to bring new customers down their way. Along the way, it is also hoped that the project will offer food and produce that is fully traceable, reinstate some of the day-to-day provisions that have been lost to the community in recent years, and provide a low-cost platform for start-up businesses.
Good evening, everybody. Hi there. Just a quick word to say thank you so much for turning out on this gorgeous summer evening. It's such a shame you can't all sit out and see our lovely little courtyard, but thanks so much for coming, and you have to promise to all come back just as you are every Tuesday and every Saturday, because this is how we want it to look. I'm not going to spend ages telling you about the market, because that's what you're here for tonight, to find out about what we'd like to do in the future, speak to the store holders, and just have a look at what we've done. So I'm just going to hand you over to Mr. Seeley now. As a thank you to Mr. Seeley and to Robin for letting all this happen. So I'm going to not beat about the bush and hand you over.
Yeah, thanks very much. Well, what do you think? It's fantastic, isn't it? Well, thank you all for coming. Thank you for the traders who've come to support this great venture. And Hill Road now has absolutely everything. All the ingredients of a first-class shopping centre. And I do hope you'll continue to support Hill Road and particularly this venture. It deserves the greatest support from Clevedon. And now Clevedon has everything. And it gives me very great pleasure to wish every good fortune to the food market at Seeley's. And
upstairs there is a small cafe facility and an outside courtyard which is open to the public. At the moment the market will be open twice a week, on Tuesdays and Saturdays, but the hope is to extend that in the near future. A charity table is also available where local fundraisers can offer food products as part of their fundraising activities. The first trading day proper got off to a brisk start, with a steady flow of customers passing through the door.
Wonderful cheddar, isn't it? Lovely. That's the cheese there itself. That's how the product comes. We call that a floppy top for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's good quality
During the morning, trade on many of the stalls seemed to be very vigorous. We asked this cheese seller how things were going.
Phenomenally well, actually, yes. It's almost as busy as it was on the launch night on Thursday.
And you think it will
continue?
I don't see why not. Seems to be a lot of support in the local area. There's a demand for produce, and here we are supplying that demand.
I hope it lasts. That's the purpose of it being here, to try and attract more people to Hill Road, isn't it? Thursday night was well attended, and it's been like this really since 10 o'clock, so it's been great. A lot of interest.
Clevedon has 2 bowling clubs, and both are looking for new members. Here at the older of the 2, the one at the top of Chapel Hill, there was a steady stream of visitors, both young and not so young, turning up to see and hear what bowling is all about.
Sorry, Graham.
Clevedon Bowling Club has been in existence for over 100 years, and as the Honours Board suggests, it has produced a fair number of top-class players. The open day sessions started on the indoor greens, where expert advice was readily available.
Hello. So when you send the wood down, it'll go out and then it'll bend back. And that must always be on the inside. Those white markers are very important to you, because when you stood on the mat, it's where you want to be bowling for. And you don't have to step right out, how you're comfortable. Now watch the wood. You must never turn your back on the wood. Would you call that beginner's luck? Very good.
No, I knew it was going to do that.
Right. That's the idea, yeah? You don't have to bowl like that. You can stand there and bowl like that.
I am actually bowling.
Yeah, go on then. Oh, too hard.
Fast. Oh, it's not good. What don't do.
Your arm before you let the ball go, or just as you let the ball go, push it over to your left-hand side.
Right. It's a long way to go. I didn't realise it was so far away.
Yeah, you look at that white marker. Concentrate on that. That's better. You didn't take your arm too far, right? You've taken the weight off. But that's not bad, you see. For somebody who's never bowled before, that is a good move.
Some green.
Yeah, you should be able to manage.
You should never put anything in there.
Comes together. Put your fingers right around the centre of that, the running surface of that ball.
Like that?
Not too risky. No, put your fingers.
The annual town meeting is the opportunity for all electors in the town to question their representatives and receive updates on the past year's achievements. Although members of the public can ask questions and raise points at public sessions of the council meetings, there is a restriction on the level of response that can be made at that time.
Clearly state your name just so that we've got it for the record.
Len Hurley. I came along to a council meeting, Mr. Chairman, I came along to the council meeting in March, showing my concern for the closure of the toilets at the opposite the pier. Since then, they've been closed and reopened, but they're reopened under management of the Pier Trust. There is a problem relating to that because the toilets are only open during the opening of the pier hours. So in the evenings and odd times, they're not open. And in the longer term, when the Heritage Centre gets built on the pier, obviously the Pier Trust will not want to run the one opposite the pier, which is open to the general public. And I have been on to the pier, and they did say that once their new heritage place is built, there will be toilets there, but only be for the facility for the people actually using the pier. So the general public will not be able to have a toilet if the ones opposite the pier are closed.
What concerns me mostly is the buses which will arrive at Sixways. The guy will be driving the bus all the way from Bristol. Maybe there's a traffic jam, maybe there's not. Maybe there are little old ladies who feel sick on the way up and want to stop, and the journey may take as long as 3/4 of an hour. By the time they get to Sixways, nature will call. And if there is no convenience at Sixways, which there has been until the 1st of April, if there are no conveniences, what do these people do? What does the bus driver do? North Somerset District Council have decided to demolish the building. And what I would say, Chairman, is this, that you, with your persuasion and good judgment, ought to be able to get your councillors in unison and say, what we must do is ask North Somerset to delay, defer, and or go back on their decision, on their judgment, and not demolish that block. It would be quite wrong and an act of vandalism.
North Somerset will not maintain it.
It's not private.
It is a privately owned building. There is a registered owner for it. We cannot walk into a registered owner and say, we want your building. We will speak to them and see if they will agree to anything. The other problem is who runs it. It is unviable. Even if we charge 20p a time to go in there, it's going to lose something like £30,000 a year. That is the sort of money we're talking about, I'm afraid. We've tried to get First Bus to take it on, who, let's face it, are the greatest users of it. And they flatly refused. They did not want to know it. Because Ace pointed out that if their drivers need to go to the loo, they will use the chalet on the beach. The Town Council have taken on two, both of which need a great deal of capital expenditure, as you pointed out, because North Somerset have failed to maintain them over the years. They built the new one in Queen Square, and in actual fact, they've done absolutely nothing to it from the day it opened.
These are not the sort of buildings which you use frequently. They don't hang balloons outside to that part of it. They're just used now and again by elderly residents of the town, elderly visitors of the town, who come to rely on the frequency of that sort of organisation.
We are doing our best to carry on something which North Somerset have declared, and are quite correct in declaring, that they are not required by law or statute to provide public conveniences. That is a given fact. We are trying to provide as many conveniences as we can literally afford. Now, if we can't charge, I mean, if I was to say, yes, we'll keep Sixways open, we're looking at a minimum, an absolute minimum, of £1 per entry. And even then, it's going to lose money. And how many people are going to want to pay £1?
Another subject raised by a member of the public was what he described as the scruffy parts of the town.
The weeds along the seafront now, on the railings between the sailing club and the bandstand, are now 4 foot high. Soon you won't be able to see the sea. Now, I raised this point last August. I took photos of it. My question then tonight is, has anybody done anything about it? Alexander Gardens, I don't know whose patch it is, I have a suspicion. Gardens Road, have a little look, walk down Gardens Road where the cars park outside. I mean, it is disgraceful. It is full of weeds, rubbish, all sorts of stuff. Can't we do better than that? I raised these, I photographed them last August. Nothing has been done.
Actually, I'd like to thank Mr. Moore for coming to that meeting last August, because on your behalf, I also actually took up the roundabout one. Well, you talked about the roundabout by the motorway. It was covered in hoardings.
It was.
I actually used that opportunity to take up the area down by Pipeline opposite Asda, which was again absolutely deplorable, equally as bad. And we managed to find out who the owners were pretty quickly.
I think we've all got to really accept that if you want the toilets, if you want facilities, you're going to have to take control of your town again, and you're going to have to start volunteering. And that's what Clevedon Pride has been about for the last 5 years, is getting a grip, picking up the rubbish that people just fling out the cars, fling everywhere. There's a team of 15 to 20 people go around every Monday picking up rubbish. The Christmas lights in the town square wouldn't appear if it wasn't for people voluntarily donating to the town. And if you want the toilets, you're going to have to get out there with your scrubbing brush and do it. That's the realism.
I personally feel that we have, and I'm not electioneering, we have a duty to provide the town public with the necessities of life, and I consider a toilet a necessity of life. We can spend £30,000 on a bandstand for somebody to wave a stick and make a row, and you tell me we can't find the money to repair a toilet, which is essential. The two don't add up, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, and it is before council, and I for one feel that this council should undertake to look seriously at the problem again, with a view to maintaining as many public facilities in this town as we can. As I said once, and I will say it, repeat myself, it will cost money, and there won't be money for other things. But let's get our priorities right. The health of the public is far more important than their pleasure. And that's where I stand, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Jane.
Just following on from Councillor Shopman, I agree that I think something like public toilets is very, very important. As a council, we shouldn't just say, oh, well, it's too much money. You look at our accounts, and you know, I'm not suggesting we sell all our assets, but I'm sure if we looked at all our assets and worked out, I'm sure there is some way of releasing money and using it more how the public want it spent, not sitting in this beautiful building with a property next door we rent out. I'm sure there are other ways that we can release money from the town to spend it on the toilets.
The toilets have been shut by North Somerset Council. There are 7 district councillors who represent the town of Clevedon, and I would say all of those, bar one, has probably voted to actually close them as part of their budget saving exercise. So therefore, the answer is not in our hands, the answer is at North Somerset. And isn't it rather interesting that North Somerset Council are actually still continuing to fund and supply public conveniences in Weston-super-Mare, but not in Clevedon, not in Portishead, not in Nailsea, but Weston-super-Mare always get the lion's share of the money. What we're being told and what we're being fed is absolute rubbish. If Weston can keep their toilets open under the support of North Somerset Council, Clevedon should be the same, and we should be rejecting this move to take on the toilets and go back to Weston and renegotiate the whole damn matter, because it's an absolute disgrace.
North Somerset have, by agreement with Weston Town Council, kept some of the toilets open, not all of them. About half of them have been closed. They're in a transition period. Eventually, Weston Town Council will be taking those over. There won't be North Somerset. Right.
North Somerset Council is tasked with saving £90 million over the next 5 years. And if you don't think that is going to result in some very difficult decisions all over the 600 odd services that North Somerset provides to children, looked after children, the ill, the old, and so on, then I think that you're living in Cuckoo land. So please, let's not have any more of, we can do it. We can't do it. Of course you can. Well, I don't know who that was at the back.
Council North Somerset Life, for starters, that will save you £1 million.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you mentioned North Somerset Life. It has been proved over and over again that North Somerset Life is value for money. Many people, elderly people, say that they enjoy reading it. I don't. I look at the timetables only. But it is a popular publication, and it saves a lot of money through not having to advertise in other newspapers.
By statute, I have to finish this meeting at 8 o'clock, and it is now 8. Thank you all very much for your attendance. It's been most entertaining, most enjoyable, and it's been wonderful to see so many people put all the ideas.